Hey, what's up YouTube? Dom the Smartphone Guy coming back at you with another video, and tonight I'm very excited to share with you my unboxing and first impressions of this device right here. It is the Google Pixel 2 XL hashtag Team Pixel. So this is a phone that I've been very excited to bring to the channel, even though there have been a ton of videos out already for this device, mainly because I never had the Pixel or the Pixel XL last year. So this is my very first Pixel. I'm very excited about it, and even though there has been a lot of negative press out there about this phone, it's a phone that I've still been excited to bring to the channel. So let's first off talk about what this phone doesn't have. So number one is a headphone jack. So a lot of people like to have their 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Not available on the Pixel. Of course, you can use that dongle, but that's something you have to carry around with you. So number one is it's missing the headphone jack. Number two thing that this thing does not have is wireless charging. So a lot of people like wireless charging. So you can see back here, I got a couple of wireless charging pads. Lots of phones that wirelessly charge. This phone obviously will not support it because of the aluminum backing, so that's number two. And number three thing that this phone doesn't have is expandable storage. Now it is available in 64 gig and 128 gig configurations, and the price tag is anywhere from $849 for this one that I have, the 64 gig version, or $950 for the 128 gig version, but no expandable storage. So what you get, whatever you start with is what you get. So let's go ahead and turn this camera around, unbox it, and I want to share with you my first impressions. Alright, so I've had the phone in hand now for 24 hours, and I'm ready to share with you my experience with it after 24 hours. So the first area that I want to talk about is, of course, the screen, because this is an area that a lot of people have been talking about. Obviously, it's the most contentious area of this phone. So let's go ahead and take a look at a whiter screen there. And so definitely one of the things you'll notice is there definitely is that blue shift, and Google has said that the reason why you see that is because of the polarization that they put into it. So when you wear polarized lenses, you will be able to see the screen no problem. Obviously the blue shift is there, but personally it's not something that that bothers me at all, and not even in the least bit. So it is something that, of course, for some people that is a deal breaker. So if that's a deal breaker for you, obviously this is not the phone for you. But for me personally, it's not something that really bothers me. The other thing that a lot of people have been talking about is the muted colors. And are the colors muted when compared to something like even the iPhone 8 Plus? Yeah, I would definitely say that they do feel a little bit more muted. You can tell even in the icons just a little bit. But again, I actually like the display. I actually don't mind the muted colors just a little bit on this phone, and Google has said that they are going to go ahead and give the option to kind of saturate those colors as well, so that is something that will be available. Now we do have a 2K display. We do have a POLED display, and that's actually one of the reasons why you see some of the issues that we're dealing with here. But overall, I actually really like the display. It's not something that really bothers me, but again, if that blue shift is going to bother you, then this is not the phone for you. Now, in terms of screen burn-in, obviously after 24 hours, I don't have any screen burn-in. That's something that will have to be tested out in my full review of the phone. So the next area I want to talk about is the performance, and hands down, this phone is just super snappy. In fact, I haven't had anything at this point that has lagged even in the least bit, and you can see I've pretty much loaded it up with everything that I use on a phone, so I can run just a ton of apps in the background. I've actually killed a few apps, but for the most part I've been running it full tilt all day with absolutely no lag, going social media. Whoops, I accidentally hit that. But social media, I've just been going crazy with it. And if I showed you what my battery life was like, it actually breaks it down. I might be embarrassed to show you how much I've used it today. But yeah. So performance-wise, absolutely no issues. That Snapdragon 835 processor with 4 gigs of RAM, which maybe is just why couldn't they put 6 or 8? I don't know. But 4 gigs of RAM honestly runs very smoothly, no issues whatsoever. Even playing games on it, obviously you're not going to have any issue, and that's really true of any Snapdragon 835 processor phone that I've had so far. Now there are some that with heavier skins, they do maybe lag just a touch, but I mean with the 835 processor you're going to have very minimal lag and pretty good battery life as well. So next area I want to talk about, of course, is that battery life. So let's go ahead and jump in, and yes, I will share my embarrassing day because I've been using my phone like crazy, but let's go ahead and jump into the battery. And here we go. So you can see here battery life. So I've had the phone off the charger for 10 hours and 40 minutes. And of that, my screen's been on 6 hours and 21 minutes. So that means that only 4 hours out of the day, the screen was not on. So that's kind of saying something. You can see I was watching a lot of Netflix and YouTube. That new phone came out, the Razer phones. I was watching all kinds of stuff about that. But anyways, just been going hard at it on the phone. So I've been using it a ton, watching some Stranger Things too. And yeah, so I've been using the phone like crazy. And yeah, battery life has been very good. So you can see that was at 6 hours and 21 minutes with 19% left. Now, right now I have it on airplane mode so you don't get a bunch of notifications while I'm shooting the video. But it was going full tilt with Wi-Fi, LTE, everything. And obviously 6 hours and 21 minutes is really good. So battery life so far seems very thumbs up on that one. In terms of the software, now obviously this is going to give you the latest and greatest. So if you are a Android enthusiast, then definitely this is the phone to get. Now, I really like Android Oreo. I do like that they've actually kind of, when compared to something like, so here I have my Moto. Let's just bring this one up here and kind of compare the software just a little bit. So when you go into the settings, oops, get rid of that. All right, so when we go into the settings here, you can see that on here we have the wires and networks, and they have them all kind of built into this one folder. Now, if I go in here, you can see that I can click on the network and internet, and now it's going to bring up these same things that you see here. But now they have connected devices kind of built in here. So Bluetooth and NFC are built in there, whereas on here it's under the More section. So just a little bit different. I actually like Android Oreo so far. I would say that the way the settings are built in, it seems very simple to use, and so far that's been obviously a huge thumbs up. Software definitely is amazing. Now, one of the issues that you might find is that this clock is not movable. You can't get rid of that. So if I want to try to get rid of it, I can change the preferences, but I can't move it anywhere. Same thing with the Google search bar. I know a lot of people complain about that, but I actually like it where it's at. So that's just kind of a personal preference, but not a big deal. Now, if you don't like it, obviously you could throw Nova Launcher on there, but then you're kind of going away from Android Oreo as Google wanted it to be. So anyways, just kind of an aside, but for some people that could be an issue. Next area I want to talk about is the cameras. Now, obviously, the cameras on this phone, as people have been saying, they are just absolutely phenomenal. I know that this doesn't have a lot of the pro modes that you can get on some other phones, but I have had a ton of fun taking pictures on this phone because it just takes such good pictures, both selfie and the rear camera. Now, it's been raining all day in Michigan, so I haven't been able to go outside and take many pictures, well, really at all. But yeah, so just a lot of fun, the selfie camera and the rear camera. Now, one of the fun things to do with this one is if you come over here into the editing and you come right down here, this is the part that I've really enjoyed. So going into like the light settings and just kind of adjusting the lighting, and there's some really cool settings in here so you can like change the vignette. You can make the colors pop, which is one of the fun things, so you can really make those colors pop. Now if I go in here and take a look at that same picture, it's going to look considerably different than it did before, and those colors really do pop. It's actually really great. It's a lot of fun to change and mess with those pictures. Not something that I've done a whole lot in the past with other phones, but it's something that I've really enjoyed with this phone so far. So anyways, you can see there's one where I actually did that, where I really made the colors pop and everything and did the vignette and had a lot of fun with it. So anyways, so far the camera is as advertised. It really is quite great. So you're getting 4K. You can shoot up to 4K 30 frames per second on the rear camera. Now on the front camera, you can only shoot in 1080p. So for some people, obviously there are other phones you can shoot in 4K now with the front, but with this one you can only shoot in full HD. So if that's going to be an issue for you, then obviously this isn't the phone for you, but so far that has been really good. Now, I haven't been able to test the speakers on it. I haven't done any video tests where I actually test the speakers, so that'll come in the full review. But so far the cameras have been on point. So let's go ahead and listen to a song now. All right, so in terms of front-firing speakers, obviously they do sound quite good. Now, are they better than this phone? I don't know. I'll do a comparison where I compare a number of phones. So I have the HTC 11 that I'm listening to right now, or I'm actually videoing on. Got the iPhone 8 Plus. This also has dual speakers, one on the front, one on the bottom, and then this one has those dual front-firing speakers. So ideally, I would say dual front-firing speakers are the best, but does this beat out the iPhone 8 Plus? Well, I'll take a listen to that, and honestly, I don't know that it does. I think that they're maybe on par with each other, but we'll test that out in another video as well. So, other things that this phone features. Well, we have IP67 certified for water resistance, so that's good. You can drop it in some water and not have to worry about it, so that's definitely a huge plus. Same thing with the SIM card. There is a nice O-ring in there that protects your SIM card from getting wet, so no concerns there whatsoever. And speaking of the SIM card, this is unlocked for all the carriers, GSM and CDMA, so any carrier in the US, you're going to be golden on this device. And in terms of audio, I did take a listen to some music with the headphones. Wasn't special. There was nothing special about the audio here, so no hi-fi DACs or anything like that. So audio sounds just fine using the dongle with a nice pair of headphones, but nothing different than, like, say, the iPhone 8 Plus. No difference in terms of that. But again, obviously, we don't have a headphone jack, so you're going to have to use that dongle in order to get your 3.5mm headphone jacks plugged in. So outside of that, so far, I would say that this phone is definitely a huge thumbs up for me. Now, the one area that I still have to come back to is the fact of the price. For me, this phone is just missing a few too many things for the price point that Google's asking for it. Now, I do really like it. I love the software, I love the cameras, and I love the battery life so far. So those three areas I definitely really like, and I do really like the build quality as well. So in those four areas, I would definitely say this phone is a win, but I still don't see how this phone is worth $900. Well, at least that's the price I paid for it. I have the 64 gig version, paid right around $900 after tax, and I have a hard time really justifying that price. But it is what it is. So far, I gotta say that I really like this phone, the Google Pixel 2 XL. I'm really glad I was able to pick it up, and I'll definitely be doing some more testing of this device. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.